Hello everyone, this is Mac with IC Cup TV bringing you another match from the round of 128 of the Global Gamers Invitational. This match is between Stalife, the yellow Terran, and his opponent ApraD, the orange Terran. The map is Metalopolis, and both players are vying for the chance to move through these rounds. The top 4 of this qualifying series will make it in to the real tournament up against the pro players with a prize pack of $2,700. At least it is now. It might get bigger. A $2,700 prize pack available to the top finishers. So both players looking to earn their right to stand among the pros. So we'll see how everyone performs. So far, not much going on this map. It is Terran versus Terran on a large map, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see a fairly long drawn-out macro game. However, so far, most of the games have been rather lopsided and over very, very quickly. So we'll have to wait and see how skilled these players are. Far too early to know what anyone is like. Stalife, meanwhile, has thrown down a close proximity supply depot, not opting for the wall off, which is a good decision in Terran versus Terran. No need to wall off when your opponent has range units as well. Also, keeping these buildings close to your command center lets you get a tiny economic advantage since your SCVs don't have any travel time from here to here when laying down new buildings. Both opponents taking their clockwise or counterclockwise scout rather. We are seeing ApraD is opting for a wall off, unlike his opponent, and his scout a little bit earlier, so he is going to be seeing his opponent's base very soon. But again, far too early for either player to really know what's going on. They're really playing absolutely identical at this juncture. Same time refinery, same time barracks. I'm guessing that Stalife probably a few seconds ahead just because of this early, rather close position construction. So this SCV does get inside, gets a look around, sees what he needs to see. Second SCV also making it in and getting a look at ApraD's base. We are getting an orbital command from both players. Again, totally identical builds. Terran is really settling into this exact same build. Pretty much all matchups where they're not rushing. We are getting a second refinery down very, very quickly from Stalife, and I'm guessing he has thrown that down. Yes, his opponent has not seen either of these. And he is chasing down the scout, so a bit of a unfortunate scout from ApraD. He didn't see the initial refinery at all, and he is able to escape this marine, it looks like, but he did not see either refinery, so he does not know his opponent is going double gas quite so early, which will give Stalife the option of doing a heavy tech strategy. We are getting a factory down already. Meanwhile, playing off of only one gas, it looks like 2 SCVs. ApraD is finishing his wall off, pumping out marines, and probably planning to lay a factory down with this SCV right now. We'll wait till he has 100 gas to see if that is indeed what he does. There it is indeed. So he is laying down the factory. Meanwhile, this is one of Stalife's SCVs camped out in the good watchtower. See if his opponent moves out. And camping with 1 marine to guard, and he's moving his barracks to the front, not bothering to make any infantry, so I don't think we'll be seeing a siege tech timing push given this switch. I take that back. He is just using it for the tech lab on the factory, going down quicker. Good play there. And he is going quick into a starport. So getting the 2 most important buildings for Terran versus Terran up and running. Siege tanks from a factory at the tech lab, and probably Vikings or Banshees. My guess is Vikings, given the commitment to siege tanks. Reactor going down for the barracks. My guess is this is also a switch. We'll be seeing this barracks liftoff and the starport landing. So lots of Vikings, lots of siege tanks. A solid Terran build. Another SCV moving out, probably to take control of this tower. If this one gets killed, or get the second tower. ApraD, meanwhile, producing a Hellion to supplement his Marines, also throwing out a tech lab on this barracks, either for a switch or for Marauders. We'll see how he ends up playing that. A starport also coming down, but very, very far behind his opponent. ApraD also still only 2 SCVs on this gas. That has got to be a mistake. That might hurt him in the long run. But his build is pretty far behind because Stalife had that very early second gas. So he is going to be able to support these high-tech units far earlier. You see, he has not opted to begin siege tech yet, instead opting for multiple Vikings early on. Interesting choice. Not really sure what the motivation is actually, because siege tanks, though they are strong, they're essentially just Marauders without their siege tech. Expensive Marauders. We are getting an early push from ApraD. Hellions, looks like 2 Hellions? Something's hiding here, I can't quite see it. There it is, 2 Hellions with some Marine support. More being rallied constantly, and Banshees coming out. So that was a switch on that tech lab. So he's rushing Banshees. Won't do well with the Vikings in play, but if he gets Cloak, that'll work well. These Vikings now moving out to scout and or harass. His information is pretty up to date, so he's probably just looking to catch those Banshees before they leave the hangar bay. But unfortunately, he's going to have to focus on harassing SCVs or coming back to defend, because here comes that push. One tank, one Marine, very, very few defenders, 2 more Vikings. This push could do a lot of damage. What are these Vikings doing? They have landed. We have 3 and 1 kills. They did pretty well so far. Managed to kill 4 SCVs. Now hunting down this Banshee. Good play there. And he is checking for an expansion before pressing out. Doesn't know about this push. Here it comes. This tank trying to hold off against these Hellions. Able to get 1 kill, but it is definitely going down. These Hellions and Marines will be loose in their SCVs. Meanwhile, these Vikings continuing to harass whatever they can. They're coming home to defend. Second tank is out, getting killed by those Marines pretty fast, doing its best to get as much damage on these Hellions, and the SCVs are running away, getting toasted. Not very good micro here. The Hellions had a great opportunity to kill these when they're all bunched up, and they're completely ignoring it. There they go, finally repositioning. Come on, don't waste this chance. So many SCVs in one big clump, and he's not microing at all. The Vikings have arrived, and they are finishing off the Hellions. All 3 are now down. These Marines also going to be dropped, and ApraD definitely had an opportunity to win this match right there. He could have killed every one of those SCVs with a little bit of control on his Hellions, but the Vikings do return to fend off this attack. Checking the income differential, we do have an 8 worker discrepancy against ApraD. So all those SCVs did escape, and that Viking harass able to do tremendous amounts of damage. And 1 siege tank with Viking support. Stalife actually looking very good at this juncture. His army is also considerably larger than his opponents, continuing to pump. Looks like just Vikings at this point in time, a little bit short on the money because of that harassment, but he is going to move out once again with all of his Vikings. That is indeed all 4 Vikings. Only getting Banshees out of ApraD so far, still Banshees and Marines. He is throwing down an additional barracks and some anti-air to deal with Viking harass. Some good play here from Stalife, taking control of this tower again to see any more presses. We do have 1 Viking out, easily sniped by 4, and those Marines, however, will be enough to scare these Vikings off. Towers going out, so the Vikings will no longer be able to harass. This is still exposed, though, so we might see a drop in a few seconds here. Before they get down, is he going to go for the drop? Looks like he decides against it. He is going to pull out. Might be a good time to expand. Here's a Banshee probably waiting to attack with the second Banshee in support. That or it's just forgotten. We don't have any more Banshees coming out, so just 1 Banshee. And ApraD looks like he's just performing a tech switch, getting a reactor barracks for Marines and a second barracks for the tech lab. Not really doing anything. A lot of idle production buildings and a command center going down, probably to his natural. So both players, I guess, are just sort of licking their wounds, trying to decide what to do in the next phase of the game. Both plan to expand. Stalife also preparing to expand to his natural. This might actually be a sneaky expansion destined for here. We'll see what he does with that. And a Banshee is sliding in. Can't really see what this Banshee will be able to do. Lots of Vikings. You know, he'll maybe be able to kill this SCV because that's a freebie. But I guess he is going to pull this Banshee out for fear of those Vikings. And the Vikings have clearly seen this Banshee, and they're going to try and hunt it down before it gets away. But unfortunately, they are the same speed, I believe. I guess not. The Vikings are closing in, but I don't think they'll get it before these missile turrets get in range. But the Banshee stops moving, takes a volley from the Vikings, and that will be lost. So Stalife looking really good. Has a considerably larger army, huge army, and pretty substantial income advantage. So Stalife in firm control here, throwing down his second expansion, so 2 simultaneous expansions. He's playing conservatively, making sure he has a great economic lead, no rush. And ApraD is just wasting all of his resources on throwing up turrets and just producing units haphazardly. These Marines are going to chase off these Vikings. I guess Stalife far more concerned about what's going on in his base, throwing down multiple barracks, now playing off 4, and just rallying siege tanks and Vikings. So a very, very standard Terran build, infantry with tanks and Vikings. And Stalife has complete map control here. His opponent is not moving out whatsoever. He's enjoying 3 bases, so I guess he's just going to take his sweet time. Generally speaking, I do suggest players try their best to harass and apply pressure when they're up, instead of just macroing. But if you are a strong and skilled player, macroing, I guess, is a form of pressure. Stalife is just content to deny expansions. It seems these Vikings have been flying around, checking out every base nearby, making sure his opponent stays on 1 base. And he has begun to saturate the second expansion. Third one almost finished. And I guess he's going to press in with a lot of infantry support. These might all be marine barracks. We'll see what happens with that. Lots of excess minerals, so he can certainly afford to pump out the marines.